Should you email your old subscriber list? Let's talk about it. So in this video, we are going to weigh the pros and cons of both. The reason I bring this up is because we had a client reach out a couple weeks ago and they asked, hey, I have this list of email subscribers, about 3,000. I have not interacted with them in the past like 2 to 3 years. Should I email them or should I start from scratch rebuilding my email list? So that's the $1,000,000 question. So let's weigh some quick pros and cons, right? If you don't email this list, you have to start from scratch, but you avoid the risk of emailing old domains, getting flagged by your email provider. But again, you have to start from complete scratch when it comes to your list, which is your potential list of customers for your business. So it puts you a step back in really building that back up. Then on the flip side, you email this list and you re-engage with them and you might have a high bounce rate. You might get flagged by an email provider, but at least you know who is still an interested customer and who is not. So therefore you have data to work with. When I typically go about answering this question, I usually like to put the business owner's glasses on and see, okay, which one is going to impact the business in the best way possible? Which one is going to increase the revenue of this business? Now, there's a lot of variables to work with, so that's just a very general rule of thumb that I like to go by, just in favor of what's going to move the business forward faster. With those glasses on, I typically am in favor of re-engaging an old email list so that you can know immediately who is still interested and who is not. And then you can really start to double down and send drip email campaigns and to really nurture those who are still interested to eventually become paying customers. Now, does that come with risk? Of course. So there are ways that you can be a little bit more strategic, kind of taking a look through your list anyways before you send a re-engagement email and getting rid of old emails, duplicates, people you think are for sure not interested. I know there's a lot of email softwares out there that you can run your list through just to triple check. Now, when you are sending out an email, there is a risk of getting a high bounce rate because again, you haven't interacted with this list in years. People's interests change. Maybe they're in a different spot. Maybe they forgot about your product. Maybe they're just not interested in your product or your service anymore. But that's okay because at least you have the data to work with so that you can send that re-engaged email and then you can look through and look to see what your bounce rate is and then go through and just remove all the people who have unsubscribed. From a business standpoint, I am usually in favor of that decision, given the context of the business, their email list, all of that. The reason that's important from a business perspective is, again, you have a list of potential customers. So you're not completely starting from scratch. So hopefully you send a re-engagement email, you remove all the people who have unsubscribed, all the people who are no longer interested in your business, and then you start to nurture the people that are interested. So that is great from a business perspective because you already have a pool of potential customers that are, yes, it's smaller than your original list, but you knew that there's a portion of that list that had forgotten about your business. So at least you have a starting point when it comes to a customer base. What do you need to include in a re-engagement email? I would say first and foremost, you need to include like 1 to 2 sentences on what your business does. Again, these people subscribed to your list like years ago. So they probably forgot. They probably forgot what you sell, who you serve, all of the above. So you want to keep it really short and brief just to jog their memory so they can understand, oh yeah, I want to stay subscribed to this email list. I like this brand, or I'm done. I'm over this. I'm unsubscribing right now. Just a quick reintroduction sentence. Then after that, you can pretty much do what you want to. I've seen a lot of brands have some fun with this. Now, it depends on your brand, how cheeky you want to be, how fun you want to be, but I have seen success in sending a coupon code and then some sort of promotional campaign, which I'm sure you've seen this before. Is like, hey, we miss you. Here's 20% off. Or hey, did you know we have a $5 coupon or whatever? Like, come back, that sort of thing. So you can have some fun with this. Usually, a coupon or some sort of discount or promo is a good way to re engage people because it gives them a reason to go to the website and click through to a product. What I would recommend is keeping it really short, brief, to the point. Just a snappy subject line, a reintroduction, 1 to 2 sentences on who you are, who you serve, and then some sort of like discount or promo to give them an incentive, to give them a reason to click through to the website. Usually that's all it should be because then once you send that out, then you'll have the data and the stats to look at and work with and to remove all the people who unsubscribed. And then you can start cultivating your list and then talking through a little bit more strategy. I would say ideally, you have your old list, you're sending out a re-engagement email, you're just seeing the data and looking at how many people are still engaged with our brand while you're also building up your email list through a lead magnet, through a quiz, a downloadable, an ad. So you're doing both things so that you can grow your potential user base as fast as possible. I wouldn't focus on one of these at a time. I would do as much as you can to build your email subscriber list because, again, these are going to be potentially paying customers. And so you want the business to grow, so you got to start building that user base. And just to put it a little bit more in perspective, obviously, social media is like the top of funnel, like the visibility aspect of it. But obviously, when someone subscribes to your email list, they're handing over their email. So they're a lot more invested versus someone who follows, who likes, who comments. They could be doing that to a variety of different brands. So having that user base of your subscribers, because they are very close to potentially purchasing your product. So you want to nurture them as much as possible. I am always in favor of re-engaging an email list to see who is still interested and who is not. Despite some risk that you might face, I still think from a business perspective, that's the best route to go. So I hope you guys thought that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll see you in the next video.